But this is, mate, she's all in there, so I've got some little bits there as well, mate.
Nice. Things I do for bikes.
Things I do for you. It is so cold that I've even got a blanket on my lap.
It's really good. 3 degrees right now.
3 degrees. Oh my god, it's so cold.
So about 3 weeks ago, I got a message on TikTok from a gentleman asking whether I would be interested in buying another motorcycle. Now at the time I wasn't sure if I wanted another bike because I still got the Phaser that I need to finish up. However, after a little bit of research, I realized that this bike used to be one of the fastest bikes in the world. So I couldn't resist. So here we are, 5 minutes away, and we're about to go and have a look. The gentleman was really nice to actually meet us halfway. So we drove for about 2 hours ish. So let's see what we're about to buy. Meet Richard, an absolute legend and also one of my subscribers. Richard messaged me on TikTok asking if I'd be interested in his 2003 Kawasaki ZX12R. After doing a bit of research and a bit of back and forth with him, I decided to take the leap. So we arranged to meet at this random petrol station, and that's where I decided to buy the bike. Despite a few minor scrapes and a broken indicators, this 22-year-old Kawasaki stands out with only 2,000 miles on the clock. Remarkably rare find, especially considering that even models with 9,000 miles are considered uncommon. The deal's done, we just get the paperwork, and now we are going to drive back home. So, shall we have a history lesson?
Yeah, on the way home.
History lesson.
Okay.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good.
The Kawasaki Ninja ZX12R, produced from 2000 to 2006, was Kawasaki's flagship sports bike, designed to rival the Suzuki Hayabusa in the race for the world's fastest production motorcycle. In 2001, a gentleman's agreement amongst manufacturers led to the implementation of an electronic speed limiter capping the top speed to approximately 186 miles an hour. Despite minor updates, the ZX12R maintained its reputation for exceptional performance and handling. Its 1.2 inline-4 engine combined with a unique aluminum monocoque frame delivered a balance of power and agility. Although the ZX12R was discontinued in 2006, it remains celebrated model amongst motorcycle enthusiasts, known for its blend of speed, innovation and distinctive design. And here she is in her full glory. Now, you can already probably see some of the obvious damage, which is right here. But this side is actually pretty good. However, it does have a few issues, which is some scratches right here. There's a little crack here on top fairing, which is annoying, which is he basically said it was really annoying because this whole piece was replaced completely. And he already once replaced it, so now we're gonna have to try and fix that again. This bike is a category S, I believe, because the first owner back in 2003, I believe, has actually dropped the bike whilst riding it. And he twisted this part of the frame, I believe. So the whole bike, or this whole piece was kind of like this, I'm assuming. So the previous owner has decided to replace this whole piece and threw it through the MOT and passed the MOT. Fast forward few 20 odd years to the present day, and now it's sitting here. So hopefully we can give it a second life. But first, the battery is actually completely dead, and obviously due to it being sitting around for too long. So what we'll have to do is basically put a jump pack on this, and I'm pretty sure there's no fuel in this either. So we're gonna have to get some fresh fuel into the bike and then see if it runs. All right, so let's have a look. I don't hear anything. Luckily, I've got some fresh fuel, so let's put that in. Okay, I'm not going to take the battery out just yet. I just want to, like I said, I just want to hear it. So what I'm going to do is literally... What's that? Okay. I'm literally just going to pull the connectors out and connect straight to it and just give it some power, and hopefully that will work. So let's connect it up. Okay. All right, well that that works. Looks promising already. Look at that. 2,366 miles. That's crazy. But first, we can't start it yet. We have to do one last thing. I don't know about you, but I like my bikes loud. So this has got to go. And it's not going back on unless I sell it. I've got my microphone right there for maximum pleasure. Here we go. I'm hoping I don't have to hold the clutch on this one. So that's off. Okay, let's try the brake. There we go, clicking. All the indicators and everything. After some fault finding, I noticed that there is an earth terminal on the battery housing and a disconnected cable next to it. Since the battery was already disconnected when I got it, I quickly reconnected the cable and gave it another try. Let's try again. Oh, something. I don't think I've got enough juice. Let me get another start pack. It's gonna work, it's gonna work. Okay, let's see. Oh, I can hear the pump going.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone?
Come on, baby.
What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Come on. That made me really happy. What a machine! This is, I love this thing so much. Anyway, got work to do. Okay, so after that success, I'm gonna have to take this panel off and the front nose cone the front nose cone off. I'm gonna have to get it painted. Also, I'm gonna have to get these new indicators. I don't really know what happened. Maybe because it's been sitting for such a long time. It looks like this rubber part has perished, but there's no plastic in it, so it's weird that it would just be holding on that. Don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this side looks pretty good. Apart from this right here, apart from this, don't really know what happened there. I might be able to save that. I may not. If it's gone too deep, it looks like it looks like it's chipped, and somebody tried to fix that in the past. Side covers, maybe I need to change them. We'll see. I might see if I can get them Cerakoted. There is a company local to me which can do that. And yeah, so the whole thing just needs a good deep clean, which I'm gonna start off by taking stuff off and then assessing every part and see what needs cleaning and see what I can get with just restoring here. Anything else will just get sent off. I've also noticed it's got this oiler thing here, which connects, I'm not quite sure where just yet, but I don't like the look of this stuff. So I'm gonna figure a way out to get this off and then clean up this whole part. Mainly, the reason I don't like it is because in the past, I've had it on a bike, or actually my friend had it on a bike, and we've noticed that the wheel just gets absolutely caked in oil. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not biggest fan, so I'm gonna take it off because I'm gonna try and keep this thing original. The original plan was to just completely restore it, but to be honest, it really doesn't need to. First, I'm gonna also start off by taking the side fairing and the front fairing, because we have some damage right here where the bike's dropped. Focus, there we are. So we're gonna have to take that off and take that off. So let's get some tools and get cracking. I'm starting off with these 3 fasteners on the side of the fairing. Then removing the plastic rivet screws. And then lastly, moving on to the main bolt on the side of the fairing and the other one located right by the exhaust. Honestly, I don't understand why they would put bolts right on the bottom. So you have to get a different type of screwdriver or a ratchet spanner to get it. It's just awkward. I mean, that is stupid. So you can see you have to get that right there, and I don't think you can get it from here. So how are you supposed to get this out? Never working on this bike before, I very quickly realized this was a pop rivet. Right, here we go. My only concern is that there are 2 different colors, and I'm gonna have to get somebody else to obviously paint this, put it in a paint booth. Just sounds expensive, so we will see. So as for this, it looks like somebody's tried to make some type of repair. They've done a pretty good job, I gotta be honest. It's solid, it's not going anywhere. And the rest of the fairing is looking pretty good from what I can see at the moment. But whatever they use is solid, they ain't going nowhere. So I don't think I'm gonna have to buy fresh fairings. All right, got one side, and now I gotta do the other side, and then we can get the front fairing off. So let's do it. Apart from a little crack here on this panel, right there, if I've got this in a frame, this needs fixing, and it looks like this little corner here is a little bit cracked. I have got plastic welder on the way, so I think I'm going to try it with that and see how that goes. If not, I might have to buy new ones. I hope not, because they're expensive. Almost there. I can't believe I only had this, like, I don't know, a few hours, and I'm already literally almost stripped it down. But that's okay. It's going to give me access to clean it and detail it and make it look awesome. Anyway, let's go. Front fairing. I've decided to remove the front mudguard first, so I could polish it off the bike, giving me better access all around. This also made it much easier to remove the front nose cone off the bike. Now, to get these nose cone or the front fairing off, it looks to me like this little, I think they call it the ram air system, or the induction, whatever. You know, this is where the air goes in. So to get that off, I think you have to take all of these bolts out, and then you can start working your way back. I'm gonna try and take this off and see if I can loosen this. The main thing I don't want to do is break anything, because the more I break, the more it's gonna cost me. And remember, this bike isn't getting full restoration, so keeping everything original is key. Okay, I tried to take it off, but it looks like there might be a bolt from the inside going onto this part. So all of these bolts here have been removed. So what I'm going to do now is take the wing mirrors off, and also the front of this, which will be 2 bolts here, and a couple bolts on each side here. And then I will be also able to take this part off. It's almost coming off, actually. And then I think we should be nearly there. And then hopefully I can get to that bolt down there. So let's start taking that off. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider to subscribe and support the channel. I just want to show you something, just to show you how new this bike really is, to 2,200 miles. If you look at these bolts, unless somebody has taken it out and actually put grease on them, which I doubt that someone's actually gone through the effort to do this. I'm pretty sure that this is still the original grease from the factory. Like, apart from it being dirty and dusty, it actually doesn't look that bad. It looks like a brand new bike. So I guess we'll see. We're just gonna have to keep taking stuff off and see how we get on. Okay, next, these bolts right here, holding the entire front headlight assembly. And also we've got bolts down here for these covers. And it looks like the entire front end is actually held with that plastic in mind being there. So I'm gonna have to take this plastic out and then take these bolts out. And I think that should free it up. And actually, there's another one up here, but I'm not sure if that's for the clocks or for that. So let's take these out and then we'll see where we are. Right, I've taken them off. It looks like it's just come out the air duct. I'm not gonna pull on it anymore because I don't want it to drop on me. But this part here should also pull out, and then that should free up the whole thing theoretically. I'm gonna have to quickly just disconnect all of the lightning connectors and everything else, which I think, looking at it, I'll be able to access just from here. So looks like there's only two. Yeah, so let's check these out. This actually ended up being just a one connector, and then the entire fairing just came out as one piece. Here is all the stuff. I had to leave last night because it was a little bit too late. Next thing, I gotta take the exhaust off so I can get to all of the bolts here, and also it will help me when I'm cleaning the entire bike. And I think I'm gonna take this off as well. So you can see here that these have actually cracked. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet. And this one here seems like it's been repaired before. So I'm assuming when this has been taken apart before, because this has been replaced once already, when this was being put back together, it snapped. Or it may have snapped when the bike was dropped. I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna have to take this apart anyway. I ended up stripping the entire front fairing, removing all the plastics and all the air ducts, including the front headlights, just to get it ready for the body shop. Right, next job, we're gonna get this oil feed or oiler for the chain out. Now, it's actually coming up to here, so I think I'm gonna have to take the entire rear piece off to actually access this. And also, there's already quite a lot of oil buildup around here, so what I wanna do is just clean everything up, and then at least I know it's done properly. So let's take this rear end off. The entire rear fairing actually came off pretty easily. It was just 4 bolts on the side and a few pop rivets, and then the whole panel slid off. After removing the seat lock cable, it was completely free. Okay, I've taken it off. Here is the Scott oiler. Now, the problem is, I've tried to see where this actually is going, and it seems like it's going here into the carburetor, which is creating a vacuum to push that oil in and onto the chain. Now, the problem I've got here is if I take this out, I'm gonna have to blank that off somehow. And I'm not too sure currently how to do that because I've never come across one of these. So I'm gonna have to look at the parts diagram and see what kind of screw or some blanking cap goes in there. So I'm gonna leave that for now. Next thing I need to take off is the rear mud guard because it needs to be polished out, and it gives me extra access to get in there and clean everything up. This side, easy. The other side, well, this bolt is really rusty. Okay. It's so rusty, I'm not going to be able to do much with that. I'm going to have to try and knock it out. So all you got to do on these is make sure that the little arrow is pointing on left like so. And then just stick it onto the screw. And then just smash it with a hammer. And try not to smash everything else around it. This is going to be a fun one, this. Something. There we go. It's just having the right tools on the job. That bolt is definitely getting replaced. So in theory, that should be it. And then I'll just remove this bracket later, and then I think I'm just gonna paint it black just to get the rust off. And that gives me a chance to clean everything in there. It's not too bad actually, but obviously any extra space that I can get to get everywhere and clean it up helps. So yeah. But I'm super excited because it's looking like a proper project now. Everything, as you can see, is on the floor. I'm gonna have to send a lot of this stuff on to paint. Bike's been through hell, dropped, neglected, and left for dead in some forgotten garage. But today, the resurrection begins. Time to fix it up and prep the fairings for the body shop. When the gentleman dropped the bike, I'm assuming he scraped this when dropping it. I don't actually understand how this has happened. Yeah, there's some excessive thumb rubbing right there. But I'm gonna have to take this off and repaint this. However, I have got another one of these master cylinder caps. So I'm just gonna sand this down and then I'm gonna just repaint this, stick it back on a bike. Right, these are completely stripped out, so I'm gonna have to tap these out. You're gonna use one of these, always make sure that it's pointing on the L when you're taking stuff out. Stick that in there. Grab your hammer, put it around a screw, give it a tap. There you go. It's easy as that. That is so much better than using an impact because you're gonna strip it even more. This thing has saved me so many times. So I've never worked on a Kawasaki before, but I'm guessing this is quite bad too. I might have to change this, but I'm guessing this should just split apart if I take this off. Okay, so I'm hoping that if I take these out, then it'll just come apart quite easily. There we go. There. One bracket removed. Before I commit to buying a new one of these, I'm gonna try and sand this down and then smooth off the surface. It's actually not too deep. It seems like there's only superficial scuff marks here, so I think if I do like a 240 grit sandpaper and then kind of follow the path line of the curvature of this part, I'll be able to sort of smooth it out and then paint it, and you won't even know the difference. I always try to fix a part before replacing it. Keeps the cost down and lets me learn something new along the way. All right, much better. Still need to sand the rest of it down, ready for paint, but to be fair, all of the scratches are gone, so I guess I don't need to buy a new one. Here, I'm using a Dremel with wire brush to strip the paint from the hard to reach spots. Right, got them all sanded. Now a little bit of primer and some paint. Okay, next job is the front set. This is the one that came in as spare. I'm not going to use any of this stuff, but I will use this since it's already off the bike, and I'm going to just try and see if I can restore it, sand it back down. First, I'm going to have to take everything off this and then have a look to see how this is, how well this polishes out. So let's take this apart. Okay, there's really two things I can do. I've got a Scotch pad here. I'm just gonna try remove some of this corrosion and just sand this out and then polish it and give it like a brushed look. Because it's aluminium, as long as you look after it, it should be okay, I think. Whether it's gonna last, I don't know, we'll see. Got my metal polish. Just a little bit of that on there. Spread it around. So I've got my drill with the little pad on the end, and hopefully that should give me a nice result. That's not too bad. That looks pretty good. And what I'm thinking is, if I got one of these pads and then just do like sort of brush it one direction. This is the old one. This is the one that's still on the bike. And this is the new one. So I've spent some time polishing it, and I think I got it looking pretty good. I'm still deciding whether to go for it or not, or whether to powder coat. I mean, I think it's gonna be okay. Let's just see. I mean, it's a lot cleaner than the other one, and it's a massive, massive improvement. You might be wondering about those visible scratches. Well, this is just a test piece for now. If I decide to go with it, I'll spend more time polishing and perfecting the finish. I've got some new brake lever to go on. This is bent because I think when the bike's been dropped on this side, obviously that's bent. And this side is pretty good. So I think I'm just gonna polish this back out, and then that should be good to go. So let's grab some tools, and I think that's a flathead and a size 8, I would imagine. Alright, so I've got my new one here. Lovely. Just a little bit there. You can see the old one, how much more bent that is. So it's like a banana. Right, perfect. One done. Right, next is the plastic welder has just arrived. And I have taken it out already to see what it looks like. So this is it. It's basically a soldering iron with 2 prongs attached to the end of it, and this should fix the fairing. I've spoken to a few body shops already, and they suggested that this could be a good idea. Never used it before, could be a disaster. Let's try it out. I've got this plastic thing here, which I bashed with a hammer just a second ago. And I wanted to see, just to practice this before I absolutely demolish the very expensive fairings. So what I'm going to do is just do like a little practice run. This crack is obviously quite superficial. Once it closes up, you can barely see it, which is very similar to the one on the fairing. So I've got loads of different little prongs that go into it. And I think the ones that they say for like superficial cracks, one for straight cracks, large curved cracks. So I think this is the one that we're going to find. Now we just load this into here and try not to burn my fingers off. Let's give it a go. Oh, that's gone straight through it. So we definitely don't want to do that to the fairing. Attempt number 2. This definitely took some getting used to. I found that holding the welder on the part until the metal cooled off helped maintain better adhesion and prevented weak spots in the weld. The cooling phase allows the metal to settle properly, reducing internal stress and minimizing cracking. Okay, after a few tries, that's pretty solid. Let's try it on the very expensive fairing. If you're a body repairer and you're watching this, now's a good time to look away, because I might absolutely destroy this fairing. But this should work. Let's see. I was definitely taking my time with this one, making sure not to burn through the fairing. No second chances on this one. It seems to be pretty good. It's actually really solid. I'm really surprised how well it worked. There's one of them that actually came through. No big deal. I can sand this out, and hopefully that'll be okay. Rest of it is just going to need sanding and then maybe filling on this end. And then I also need to just trim all these off. However, I have found another problem with this fairing, which is right here. And this is where the indicator was, and this actually snapped. So I'm going to have to try and plastic weld this as well. but not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet because it's such an awkward position, so I'll just give it a go. Okay, this side, really good. Apart from that little problem. You can barely see anything come through, which is really nice. And then down here is where the repair is. Okay, so I've spent some time sanding. This is looking pretty good. Just needs a little bit of filler, I assume, don't know. I'll let the body shop decide that. Everything is super strong actually. It's not moving at all, which I'm really happy with. Now remember, when you're watching this, I'm never gonna claim that I'm professional or I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I do, but not a lot. A lot of the times I'm kind of just winging it, and it's not the proper way to do it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't really know any other way to do it. I could have fiberglassed it. I didn't want to build up so much material on the original fairing. So this is the way that a body shop recommended. I tried it, it seems to still work. We'll see how it comes out when it comes out of paint. We're getting so close now to actually finishing the Kawasaki off. Now, this is probably going to be my favorite video to make because I'm actually going to be doing some detailing. I've created loads of different processes for myself on how to detail. And dare I say that sometimes I think I'm probably better at detailing than actually building the motorcycles. So hopefully I can show you something and you might be able to use it, or maybe not. And maybe you might not like my processes, but who cares? At least the bike's going to be shiny. So unfortunately, I don't actually have a running water in here, but what I do have is a steam cleaner, which I picked up from Facebook Marketplace for £25, which is amazing. Great deal. And I don't actually have a running water in here. I think I do, but actually I don't really want to be using a jet wash for a bike like this. Before we use the steam cleaner, we need to do some polishing, because obviously if you're polishing, there's going to be a lot of mess. You're always going to get a lot of stuff flickering around, and so let's get the tools out and let's start polishing. Right, I figured we're going to start with the rear hugger because it's black and it's the hardest thing to polish. Black is always the hardest. So for this, I use a drill with a pad attachment on it. You don't need no fancy tools. This is basically a rotary polisher, if you like. And to finish it off, I have a dual action polisher, which will basically get rid of all of the hologram swirls and stuff like that. So before I start working on this part, I'm gonna have to steam clean it because, as you can see, from the chain we've got a lot of grease. But a steam cleaner should sort this out. So let's try it out. Let's be real, using a steam cleaner on a motorcycle isn't the first thing that comes to mind. But honestly, it worked way better than expected. It got rid of all the grease and left the bike looking super clean and shiny. This is after the steam cleaner. All of the stuff is gone, all of the grease and everything works really well. And let's be honest, your wife probably has one somewhere hidden away from you, so just go steal it and clean your bike with it. I won't tell. I've done the top side as well, and now we can really see all of the scratches everywhere. This just needs a good old polish. Right, to start off, we got to get a polisher. So I'm using a orange pad you can get from eBay. They cost about £10. I'll put the link in the description for you. And the compound of choice, something I've been using for a very long time, is Menzerna. This is a heavy cut compound. It's perfect for something like this with heavy scratches. So I'm going to use this to polish out the entire fairing, and yeah, and then finish it off with another compound to get rid of all of the imperfection. I'm going to sit down for this, try to put it on my knee and try to balance this and see if I can just work my way around it without cracking it. So yeah, let's try it. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to teach anyone on how to polish a motorcycle. That's not really what this channel is all about. But I do like sharing my ideas and processes with you guys. So if you ever want to try it yourself, you might find this useful. And hey, if any of you pros out there have any tips or tricks, I'd love to hear them. Just leave a comment. Now, after using the rotary polisher, I have switched over to my dual action just to get that extra shine and remove the holograms. Right, so I spent some time polishing that and I'll let you judge. So this is what it looks like from the distance. Now this was drill. I've also used one of these attachments and a dual action polisher. Now it's not perfect, so I'll show you a close up. So this is under full light and you can see some of the pitting. Now I can't do much about this because this is not the typical paint. It's not like a clear coat where I can sand it back and then take the scratches out. I can't really do much about it because then, well, if I sand this then I'll just damage it completely. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah. I mean, once it's on a bike, you're never going to even see those little scratches. Right, the next thing I want to address is this. As you can see, I've already tried to polish this out and needs a little bit more work, but this is really dull here, and this is obviously a lot shinier. So the process I've used for this is my little attachment on the drill, and I've got loads of these little pads. They're 1-inch pads from eBay also, and I'm just using S20 black compound, one-step compound. And that should bring the top yoke or the triple clamp or whatever you want to call it, that should bring it up to what it once was. You can find all these attachments on eBay and they're super handy. Instead of buying a bunch of different polishing machines, you can just grab a small 1, 2 or 3-inch pads and they'll get most of the jobs done. I mean, just look how well this has turned out. If you're enjoying the video and the content, please consider subscribing and help support the channel. One of my biggest pet peeves is those warning stickers on petrol tanks. They make the bike look really ugly, especially when they have been on the bike for ages and they start to look worn out. So I've decided to remove them from this top bracket and give the whole thing a proper polish before putting it back on the bike. And the results speak for themselves. Turning my attention to the rest of the bodywork, I follow the same process as I did on the rear hugger to polish the petrol tank using rotary and a dual action polisher. This one took a little bit more time since the tank has been pretty badly neglected and in need of a lot of work to remove all of the scratches. Right, obviously I have to steam clean the entire bike itself. However, to really showcase on how good a steam cleaner can be for you if you decide to actually use one, is to go for the dirtiest place and show you how well it works. So the dirtiest place on a motorcycle, I think, is where the sprocket cover is right here. I started to remove all of the bolts, but then...
How the hell am I supposed to get this freaking cover off? Another beautiful design by Kawasaki. Right, after a little bit of battle, here is the cover, and you can see there's a lot of grease, and I'll be honest with you, around the sprocket it looks pretty good. A little bit of dirt in there, I'm sure we can sort that out. So just to give you a close-up, I've seen worse, I'll put it this way. That part right there is pretty clean, but yeah, let's give this a good old cleanup.
First, I started off with a plastic scraper to remove most of the grime and dirt. Then, I followed up with my new favorite tool, the steam cleaner.
What, that you've got the same jacket that matches your bike because it's red and black?
Yeah, and I'm probably going to be losing a lot of my subscribers because I feel like I'm cheating on everyone that's a Kawasaki fan.
Does it not say, what does it say on the back?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's staying in the video as well. Anyway.
Is that Harry Potter?
Harry Potter? We're going to just like skip through this part because a lot of it is just the same stuff over and over again. I'm just steam cleaning the bike. So we're gonna go, I've got this like a stiff brush, so I'll be able to hopefully pick off all the crap. So once I heat it up, I'll pick it off and then I'll wipe it down with a microfiber towel. So it's actually starting to look really good. Anyway.
I mean, there's not a lot of time, is there?
No.
It's very sparse time.
All right, this is not freaking depression channel on YouTube. Right, so I've got the cover all cleaned up. So this is how good the steam cleaner can be. And then in here, now it needs a little bit more work, but all of that down there is pretty much all clean now. All of the grease is back out. So I can stick that back in and basically do the entire bike and go over every little point. Obviously, if you're going to use it, don't use it around your electrical connectors like commons and stuff. And then, yeah, so then we're going to be able to polish the rest of it out and then give it some shine. Shine.
Shine.
I'm going to give it some shine.
Okay.
It's going to be good. Now, just to seal all my work and everything that I've done with the steam cleaner, I'm going to just kind of finish everything off and seal everything, making sure that obviously it stays shiny and nice. So I've got ACF 50. If you've got a bike, you've probably used this before. All I'm going to do is just spray a little bit on the cloth, and then I go round every nut and bolt, every part of the engine, and then wiping it all down and basically applying this coating everywhere. Not only that it gives you a little bit of shine, but also it will give it a little bit of protection long term. So I've used this many years. One of my good friends have told me about this, and yeah, never stopped using it. So let's get the whole bike done.
Safe to say, I absolutely love the ACF 50, and if you haven't tried it already, go get yourself one. You won't regret it, I promise you.
And if you're going to use this and your bike is smoking after you turned it on, don't worry, you probably just got a little bit on the exhaust. All right, so just look. I know it's a little bit dark in here and it's difficult to see, but already, if I do a little bit close up here actually, already you can see how much nicer this thing looks. It turns out all it really needed was a little bit of a clean. So now I need to put the rest of the fairings that I've got here on, and then we can start slowly putting everything back together. But first we got an indicator that's broken, so we got to fix that first.
Now, this was meant to be a full clip on how I'm restoring the indicators using the front ones, but after taking it all apart, it actually didn't work, so I ended up ordering a new one and installing it.
Indicator's on. Now, good news, we have got the fairings have come, and I want to show you that this was actually the broken part, and you cannot see any repair whatsoever. So back here, all of the staples that were on here have been filled and sanded away, as well as on this part, which I'm going to show. So you can see there's nothing, no traces of repair whatsoever, and it's super solid and perfectly color-matched, as well as this one, which has got the two-tone, which will match the other side. The only problem with the other side, we go over here, is this. The other side needs polishing, and I haven't had a chance to get to that yet. So I will get that on a bike first and do it on the bike just because it's a little bit more stable. However, as you can see next to this, that is, I'd say that's a pretty good match. So you gotta just basically put everything back on it, all of the little rubber seals and all whatnot, and then we can start putting the bike together. And we've still got a few things that I'm waiting for, so we can kind of get it finished, but not finished. So I don't know, we'll see.
I'm slowly piecing the entire bike back together. I've decided to put on the rear fairing, which was a hassle. Trying to work around the locking mechanism with about 5mm of space for your fingers is an absolute nightmare. But this also allowed me to polish the rear fairing and fit the rear seat. I'm really happy with the way it came out. As you can see, there are a few little scratches and things like that, but I just don't think it warrants respraying the entire panel. After the polishing, it turned out to be really nice.
Okay, I've got the fairing here. Now I need to build up the entire fairing. So I need to put the headlights in, all of these little things for the screws. Put them all in, put the headlight in, put this little light in. So let's build it up and get it ready
to put it back on the bike. So finally the bike's going to start looking like a real bike, and I'm so excited. Saying I was excited would be an understatement. Getting the front fairing back together meant that the bike was finally starting to look complete and getting really close to the finish line. Right, I've got the headlight here. You may remember that previously on, I think it was the first video when I've taken these out, one of these top bits has broke off. So what I did is actually, unfortunately I didn't record this, which was really annoying, and I didn't want to just break it off just for the sake of video and do it again. So I've cut a bit of plastic out of this little box here that I've got here, sanded it and kind of made it look as best as I could to match this side. And it does fit really well. It is not the prettiest, I understand that, but I went online to see how much a brand new one would cost, and they are like £600 plus £200 postage from abroad, and that's not happening. So what I did is I fixed it. It's solid, it's not going anywhere, so it will do the job. Unfortunately, I wish I could replace it for the cost, but honestly, I just don't think it's worth it, considering it's just the top mount. And if you can fix it, you're never gonna see this anyway, so it'll be fine. As you know, this was the most damaged part of the fairing, so repairing it with a plastic welding not only saved me a lot of money, but also taught me a skill that I can use for future projects. Right, remember that bolt that I had trouble finding on this in the first video? Well, turns out I can't get to it again because I just put the headlight on, so I'm gonna have to take this headlight back off and then install this. So, just had it aligned and everything as well. Stupid design. Right, let's take it off. I'm sure you would agree that there's nothing worse than taking everything apart after you've put it together. Right, the whole thing is built out. I've got the indicators in, and I've also put the little vents or the induction part that kind of slots onto this. So now we should be able to just literally slot the whole front end on. So can't wait. Let's see it. I'm pretty sure this acts as like a stopper, so it tells you how far this needs to go in. So I think I need to loosen those and then kind of slide it all in. Once the front fairing was on, I then decided to put the side covers in, which I've polished up with the dual action polisher as well. Once again, I polished up the front screen and attached it to the bike. Now, I didn't have any black screws to attach it with. They originally come with some pink ones, so I've just used some new silver ones, which I'm actually really liking. Look at this thing. How mean does that look? The paint is absolutely stunning. The body shop, they absolutely nailed the color. The color between here and here matches perfectly. I think once you take it out in the sun, it really will show how much it pops. But I'm super happy with it. I mean, just look at it. It looks amazing. Next thing I need to do is just put the front mud guard on, and then I can start working on the side pieces. And I've also painted this bracket for the rear hugger. And then I just need to basically put that on. And it's so freaking close. Oh. Can't wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to ride this. I have been so excited. It is about 11:30 at night and I've got work in the morning, so I guess I might have to finish for today and come back tomorrow. Anyway, let's do the front mud guard. I'm gonna go to sleep, but... Okay, so here is the front mud guard. I put that back on now. And next, we have got the little cover, the bracket that I've painted, and that is going on to this rear hugger. So let me grab some tools and get going, because this thing is coming together slowly.
Up next is the fairing, the side fairing, the one that's not been painted. I want to polish it out, but I can't polish it out on the floor because I'm actually risking cracking it. So I'm going to put it on the bike on this side for now, and then I'm going to polish this out. But I forgot how to put it on. So yeah.
Yep, you guessed it. As soon as this fairing was back on the bike, I've used the rotary and dual action polisher once again. This process has worked really, really well and brought the entire bike back to life.
Right, that's done. Let's polish it up and make it look shiny. All right, look at this. It is starting to look like a bike. I have completely polished out the entire side, and you can see again that the color match is pretty much perfect. I have found that there is a run right here, not a big deal, I can fix that and I will do that later. However, look at it, it looks so nice. And I've also taken the time to fit the other side. So everything is now fitted back on the bike. The next job is to fit the exhaust. Now I have cleaned it up already and I have used the same process on this part of the pipe, basically just using some metal polish and a drill. As you can see, it is miles better. So I'm gonna stick this back on, and yeah, and then I think then we just got the seat to do and fix the top. Let's stick this beautiful exhaust on. Ooh, Scorpiano.
Now, I wish that the legal requirement for exhaust noise was much higher, because it pains me to put an exhaust back on, as I absolutely love the sound of it without it.
The exhaust is on, yes, it needs a little bit more polishing, as you can see, no problem at all. The last piece of the puzzle is to put the seat on, but before I put the seat on, I need to fix these two little screws that I've forgotten about and realign the fairings. But other than that, that should be pretty much it. Obviously, I can't do anything about the battery just yet until the battery arrives. For now, this is going to stay open. However, before I take it out, something's just arrived. The battery is here. And I've also found these. These were in one of my drawers here. I think I bought this for another project bike, but these are the bar ends. And as you can see here, these are completely scraped up. So I might just swap these around for silver and see how that looks. If I don't like it, I'll just throw them away and get some proper black ones. But for now, we can get this battery out and fit it to the bike and get it running. Right, I had to remove the top cover of the tank because some of you actually mentioned that this is quite difficult to put in. One of the comments on the previous video. And yeah, I didn't really want to scratch anything, so hopefully, excuse the finger, I managed to cut myself taking this off, but here we go. So I'm not quite sure which side's which, but I'm assuming it goes in like this.
Now, you guys have warned me with this battery, and yes, it was definitely a challenge to get it in there. It took me all in all about 15 or 20 minutes to try and fit it in there with a bloody finger. But I managed to get it in there and all of the cables tied it away.
Okay, battery all in there, cover's back on. Now, I did try and put the bar ends on, but these are no good. They're not gonna work and it looks terrible. So I'm gonna have to get some new ones for that. But yeah, let's just take it outside. I cannot wait to see it in the sun. First time it's been outside since I bought it. So yeah, let's do it.
And there you have it. Doesn't it look absolutely stunning? This thing has turned out so much better than I would ever imagine to. The bodywork looks amazing. Bike runs perfectly. So thank you to the subscriber that reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to restore this bike. But yes, there are still a few things that we need to finish off, like the side foot pegs and all that sort of stuff, which I will do in the next video. A couple little things, and I've also ordered the service kit so I can do the oil change. To start off, we've got some new oil, we've got a new oil filter, and we've got a new bolt for the oil pan. I think this one should be magnetic as well. I've always used the magnetic, and it's supposed to be really good for keeping any magnetic debris down at your oil pan, so I would definitely recommend it. Never had one that actually collected anything, which is good news. However, it's always good to have something like that. I prefer them. Some people do, some people don't. Next thing, we're gonna have to drop the side fairing off because that's where the oil filter is located. Whilst we're doing that and the oil's draining, I need to sand out this little run here that's the body shop has left behind. Not a problem. I did ask them not to color sand or anything like that because I wanted to show you how I do any sort of sanding to the body panels. So that's fine. So with the power of editing, and here we go. So the side fairing is now off. Next thing I need to do is just turn the bike on, warm up the oil and drain it out. So the drain plug for the oil is right here and the oil filter is on the side. So let's get it started up.
And what you're about to see is where all of my problems began.
Me too. Got to be the cold. Huh? Got to be the cold, isn't it? Killing the batteries. And that means blowing her off.
Yep, that was just the beginning. And this is where the late nights began.
Oh. I reckon it's the stupid alarm that has something to do with it. Oh. Right, so the battery's dead. I mean, it was like -3 in this workshop, and the bike has been in the cold, so I'm guessing that's got something to do with it. Problem is, this is where the battery is, and as you saw from the last video, it's not easy to get to. So luckily I've got Ryan here and we're thinking about just bump starting it so I don't have to charge the battery. And that's going to be the quickest way. We're gonna bump start the Kawasaki. Let's do that. Let's do it. That works. Ready?
If you ever tried and bump start a motorcycle, remember to make sure that the surface that you're trying to bump it on is nice and clean.
Gonna have to take the battery out. The problem is this workshop's so dusty, so the rear tire can't catch grip for us to actually do it. So, I gotta go back up on a ramp. Yeah. If you haven't taken a battery out of a ZX12R, you know people are gonna try anything. we have brushed out a landing strip for the bike so we can push it from the hill down this way. Hopefully it's gonna catch grip and turn over. Oh great, all the dust is gonna be on the bike. Oh, it's fine, I'm gonna have to clean it again anyway. All right, let's do it. Push it back up on top.
I have bump started a lot of bikes in my time, and this one definitely defeated me.
Right, if you're ever thinking about removing the battery, there's a top bolt right there, so you have to take that off, that, so all the seats, all the sides, everything else. So I've got the battery hooked up. Luckily, I've got the positive connector extended to the back over there, and I've got my neutral on there. So I should now start. So let's give that a go.
told you it would work. I think that's about it. So I think the oil's warm enough. God, I love that sound. Cannot get enough of it. Right, in case you're wondering, it's a size 17 socket. So hopefully, off. Don't burn myself. There she is. Beautiful. It's a bit dirty, not gonna lie. All that stuff floating in there, that's just the dust from the bucket, so don't worry. I've seen a lot worse, definitely seen a lot worse. So for the oil filter, I've got a very old school chain remover. So if you haven't seen one of these before, you simply just put this onto the chain, wrap it around like this, and then wipe my hands because I've got oil on that. You grab your socket, that goes on there, and then you just spit it off. Like this. I was on there quite tight actually. Tighter than I imagined it to be. There we go. I'll tell you what, I don't think this oil has been changed that long ago because it's actually quite clear, and I was expecting black oil, but then again, it's got 2,000 miles on it and it's a fairly new bike, but I'm guessing the oil's been changed quite recently. But any bike I buy ever, I always change the oil just because it gives you peace of mind. So yeah, I've got all the stuff, so I might as well change it. Yeah. In it. That's all the oil drained out. Let's carefully move this out the way. There we go. And then, so I've got this brand new one. Oh, has it got a washer? Where's my washer? Oh, my washer's here. So I'm trying to do this one-handed, but now this is the new oil filter, and I'm sure this is common sense for most people. You've never actually done a oil change on your bike. A good practice is add a little oil on the rubber seal, and I like to just put it everywhere, the oil filter, and that just kind of preps it. I think it makes them last longer, I don't really know, but that's just what I've always done. So that will just spin on. No, just spin on. Alright, as you can see, Martin's bike is working now, and he's taking all of the stickers off. It looks like a different bike. Do you prefer it? Do you think it's better without the stickers?
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah, no. Anyway, back to this. Oh. Huh? Definitely running rich. Anyway, we gotta put some oil into this ZX12R. So here's the oil filler cup, 2.8 liters of oil capacity in there, and I've got my little measuring cup because I want to be specific. I'll give you a little more, but there is a inspection window right there. So let's just fill it up, start it up, make sure that there is enough oil, and then we'll check it.
I took my time with this as I just wanted to make sure that I've got perfect amount of oil in
I've got just enough oil in there, so let me just do this stupid alarm. Let's turn it on. Hopefully it'll start now. Oh, you bastard. She's on. Oil lights is off. So I'm just going to let this run for a little bit, let it warm up, and then I'm going to top up any oil they may need.
Okay, so I just finished work. I had to go pick up the bike. We dropped it off at MOT, and I got a call back from the mechanic saying that the bike failed the MOT. Now, what actually happened is when the bike went for the MOT, the mechanic tried to start the bike and it fired straight away, no problem. Then he pulled it into his workshop, went to turn it on, and then a cloud of smoke coming out of the bottom of where the battery is, or underneath this petrol tank. So he failed the bike on that, and I genuinely think that it was a flat battery and the smoke has come from a solenoid, and when it actually tried to arc itself, it didn't have enough juice to do that, so then the solenoid has basically failed, which is my theory anyway. So what I'm going to try and do is plug the battery into my starter pack once more and see if I can turn it on. If I can, I'm gonna try charge the battery up again to the full. I think genuinely it's because it's so cold in here. So yeah, so let's give it a go. I honestly don't know what else, because we actually bump started the bike outside the workshop, or where the mechanic is, and it started straight up. It's no problem. So I know it's not the engine or anything. Thank God for that. Right, I've got the ignition and everything on, so all plugged in. Let's see. Nothing. You can probably tell the frustration is starting to really set in now. So we're gonna have to get to the starter solenoid. All right, that's the only thing I can think of it being. What else could it be? Right, I've left this overnight. As you can see, last night I've been busy. I've got stuff everywhere, so we gotta fix it. And there we go. Much, much better. I'm sure you will all agree that working in a clean workshop just makes it so much easier finding stuff. Anyway, we have got the battery pack, or the entire enclosure on which the battery sits. So I'm gonna have to take the battery out. And also, I believe this is going to be our problem, which is the starter solenoid. I've checked the fuse, which is in here, right there. So the fuse is fine. You can see it there. I've tested it already. Continuity across both sides. Now, to check that this definitely works, you have to take it out and then plug it to a battery, and then stick some probes on there. So I've got my tester right here. And yeah, and hopefully that will give us some reading. And if it doesn't, that means it's not working. And if it does, then new one is required. So after doing all that, taking it out and testing it, I found that it was absolutely fine. Okay, as you can see, it's back together. The solenoid was working, and I put it back in the bike, and it was started straight up. So when I was putting it all back together, I cleaned up all of the connectors, checked every single plug and everything else, and I cannot see any sort of burn marks or nothing. So all I can think of is that it might have just been a loose connection somewhere. And now that I've cleaned everything up and gone through the connectors, especially on the solenoid, you know, it just worked straight away. So I don't really know what it could be. What do you reckon?
I reckon you missed the workshop and wanted to come back home.
Ryan thinks that the mechanic didn't want to work on it for some reason, so he just told me that it nearly blew up. But anyway, yeah, it is what it is. So I guess we'll just continue, put it back together. I've charged the battery once again, and I'm going to take it back to the MOT center, and then we're just going to see if we can get it to pass this time, which will be exciting if it does. But first, me and Ryan took the exhaust off the Gixxer, and obviously we had to start it up.
I think that's... I like it.
Okay,
major problems with the ZX12R. So the clip that you just seen, me trying to change the solenoid, was nothing to do with the solenoid. So quick story, I've taken it to MOT, it failed because there was a smoke coming out of the underneath the tank, which actually was the battery. Now, when I try to start the bike, it doesn't want to run. It doesn't actually do anything. I'll show you. So, okay, so I switched this on. Alarms should be disabled. I press the button. You can hear the pump priming. Absolutely nothing. However, if I try and hold the button and spin the key at the same time, it's trying to. So that tells me that there is potentially the immobilizer is stopping the bike from starting. Because after that, I've taken it back to MOT thinking it was working because I charged the battery and it kind of started working. But I think when I unplugged everything and plugged it back in, something must have reset the system and then it started to work. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to take the bike apart, and I think I'm gonna try and take the entire alarm system out of the bike, because that's the only thing that I can think of it being wrong. The trouble is, the alarm system is hardwired into the wiring loom and they spliced it into it, and I have no idea how they did it because I've got no wiring diagrams. I've got no idea what they could have done, and I think that's also draining the battery. So let's take it apart for about 100th of time now. I had the battery out about, God, how many times did I have it out?
About 30.
In and out, in and out, in and out. Thinking it was the battery, it was not the battery. So let's take it apart and see what we can do with that alarm system. I think that might be the solution to our problem, because, I mean, what other options do we have? Okay, here is as far as I got so far. I found the alarm. I had to tape it up because it is stupidly loud, isn't it?
Just a little bit.
So I've taped it up for now. See, like, you can't even touch it because it's so sensitive, but I need to find wiring diagrams for this, because I found this was actually taped up, so I've taken the tape off, but somebody had to go at doing some soldering. I mean, the connections are tight, but obviously that's rough, and they just basically put tape on it. So I tried to move stuff around. This, I think, is an old charging lead for the bike, and so basically I need to get my laptop, find a wiring diagram for this thing, and then potentially see if I can just take it all out and do it my way. It's going to take a little bit of time, but unfortunately it's one of those things, and at the moment I don't really know where to begin, but you know, what can I do? So after all of that, I'm sure you're wondering, did it pass the MOT? Of course it did. I mean, did you really think I was going to let you sit throughout the full video and then tell you it didn't pass again? Matter of fact, I have actually been riding it quite a lot, and to show you how much I've been riding it, I'll show you now. So I've actually zeroed out the trip computer at the beginning. Let me put the lights on so you can see it. It's now got 2,973 miles, so I've done 600 miles. So yeah, I've done 600 miles on the bike and it runs flawlessly. And the problem was this. This is a data tool immobilizer, and this is what's been causing all of the starting issues. So as you can see, quite a lot of wires that I had to rip out and fix everything that was wrong with it on the bike. That really hurt my foot. Anyway, that's everything in this video. Now, like I said, I have ridden it and I have taken videos, but since this video is already like, what, 20 minutes long or something, there is no point carrying on. So I want to show you a full video of what it rides like and what it feels like and stuff like that. So I will do another video on this bike. It is already up for sale.
and I think it's ending tonight. So if you've seen it on eBay and you have bidded on it, or you have shown an interest, if it doesn't sell and you still are interested in this bike, DM me and we can sort something out. But yeah, thanks very much for watching this video. I do apologize that it's been a little bit longer than usual. Like I said, I had a lot going on, and I've also started something new that I'm going to show you in the next video. But in the meantime, once again, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.